This is the new Magma Mastery Camo in Modern Warfare 3 in Warzone. 1.2 million XP and then some to acquire, and man, it was agony sometimes. Today, I want to run down some of my thoughts with you on this event, the camo overall, as well as share some tips for if you haven't completed this for yourself just yet. But as we go along, drop your thoughts. What do you think of the Magma camo? What do you think of the event? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you enjoyed the video, drop a like and consider subscribing for more Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, X Defiant, and other FPS content. I'd love to have you in the community. Finally, check out my friends over at G Fuel for up to 30% off your entire order, but more on that a bit later. For now, let's talk about this Magma camo and the Vortex XP event. So first, the event itself. It's live for like another 7 days and a few hours and change as of this being published. Firstly, you'll want to make sure that you take advantage of playtime if you are at all interested in this camo. It is something that does take a bit of time. I know that I'm not the first by any means to post about this camo, but I figured that with a week flat left, it's a solid reminder to touch on it now. Convenient also that it's when I finished mine. 16 tiers of rewards, a total of 1,233,700 XP required to earn this camo and everything else along the way. For perspective, I'd say all the zombies games I was playing, I'd say it was an average of anywhere from like 25 to 35,000 XP. And for things like lockdown quads, as of recently, it was like 30,000 XP on a relatively consistent basis. If we split the difference, that's about 40 matches of either of those on average if you're doing a rough average of about 30,000 XP per game. Now, that timing will vary greatly as you can probably hit it in as low as 8 to 9-ish hours of playtime, since lockdown games last around 12 to 15 minutes depending on load-in times and overtime triggers for score caps and such, or as long as like 34 hours if you're not efficient in doing zombies the entire match length. So a large window of time for sure. That to me though is the problem that I have with this event and where that lies, but we'll touch on that in a bit. The camo itself, pretty cool. It's not the best, it's not the worst, in my opinion. Like, if I wasn't a huge camo guy and a collector of sorts, I wouldn't be opposed to missing out on this one, but I do like a good animated camo, and that fear of missing out strikes again, absolutely. I will say, I do hope there's some adjustments to the either animation speed or maybe the standard glow of the Magma flow. Whatever, I'd like to see it adjusted slightly, but right now it's a decent camo. What's interesting though is that the camo itself behaves differently depending on the skybox, something that's actually kind of relatively common with Modern Warfare 3 maps and camos. Some camos are way more vibrant in some different lighting, some glow in more areas and such. So this camo looks to have a matte finish on brighter maps like Afghan, but when you get more into the dulled skyboxes like Underpass, it looks a bit more vibrant and glowy, and then in some dark areas it actually is pretty glowy. It genuinely glows with that Magma flow. So the consistency of what you'll see in game in that first person perspective is kind of up in the air. It's kind of cool depending on if you like certain maps over others, but again, it's just one of those things that it's not exactly one-to-one as we've seen other camos have. But if you were to go in and jump in and try to get this for yourself right now, with again about a week left and half the event remaining, what is the best way to do it? Well, firstly, I think it depends on how you want to progress it. If you want to go for something like me, most of the event I was doing Borealis camo, so I wasn't really even focusing on the event. If you want to do something like that, I'd say go into zombies, do Borealis, do bioluminescent, do your zombies acts, the story missions and everything like that. I wasn't focused on it, and it helped progressing in the background feel like it went by a lot faster. Like, the majority of what I did was across like 4, maybe 5 days or so, but it really didn't feel like all that time. This is the more leisure approach to it, and I think honestly it was way more enjoyable than actively looking at how much XP, usually a ton of that you still have left, and having to sweat it out in modes that will maximize your XP yield. So if you have the ability to do that, you want to do some camos and everything, any sort of those story missions and zombies, again, just something that you can game with the lads and not pay attention to the sheer overwhelming amount of XP left, that's what I would recommend first and foremost. But again, if you do just want to grind it out, you want to sweat it out and get it done in a day, 2 days, whatever the case, if you want to do it, maybe save it to the last second, which I would not recommend. There is a condensed way to go about it, but it'll probably destroy your sanity. The best way that I've found in a condensed fashion was lockdown quads. Another one is MP, kill confirmed, and XP farming like we've done in the past, and we've described in the past. And zombies, if you want to focus on that, you can end up just maximizing and completing as many contracts and challenges as possible. For me, I like the cargo delivery contracts. Those are the easiest and fastest ones to do, simply taking you from start to finish like 2 minutes maybe. Now, for lockdown and kill confirmed methods, just equip decoy grenades, restock, and have ammo boxes where applicable. For lockdown quads, try to play the objective as much as possible while also looting, because you have about a 50-50 chance of getting an ammo box out of the crates that you open up. So you can chuck 2 decoy grenades at the objective, and if there's anyone around it, pick up an ammo box, get 2 back immediately, and do it all over again. It's about 200 XP and score per Blur, Decoy, Distract initially, so you can chain those together big time. It really does help out a lot. Kill confirmed if you are going to do that sort of farming method. Again, go for tags, use decoy grenades, and play the objective where possible. If you can, something like meat and shipment 24/7 is absolutely advantageous in that regard. You just have those small, close quarters engagements, and you're always going to be right next to those objectives, and you're going to get a ton of decoy assists as a result. Biggest thing too, beyond that, activate your double XP tokens if you have any available. Obviously, that boosts the total amount of XP by a whopping double, so that's the biggest part. 1.2 million XP is a lot of XP. Like we mentioned, anywhere from that window of like 8 to 9 hours of play to around 30 hours of playtime. I'd say realistically, you're probably not going to spend 30 hours of playtime just doing this event. I'd probably say the more accurate windows, anywhere from like 8 hours to maybe like 14 to 15 on average. You can probably do it faster, and of course, you're going to absolutely do it slower, but I'd say that's probably a more accurate window of what to expect in terms of playtime if you haven't started this at all. But again, that's where my problem with it and how I don't know how I feel about this lies. Taking myself out of the equation for this, like, I'll be the first to tell you, I love these events. Any new camo event that comes along in Modern Warfare 3 so far, I'm gonna do it. That's what I've said for years now. You give me something like a universal camo, something tangible that I can use my playtime to earn, I'm coming back every single time. I don't care about a rank reset every single season or anything like that, but if you give me something that is earnable and that I can use for the entire year, hell yeah, I'm there. That's the way that you get me to increase my playtime. So removing my bias and my love for these kind of things out of the way, my problem is that a lot of people will not have the playtime that is required of them to grind this out. The average player, it's probably a coin toss if they end up getting this or not, if you ask me. I get you want to introduce this level of a limited edition to it, but I also feel like this is a little tough for the casual player. I played a few hours of Zombies a night for like 4 or 5 nights of the past week, and I grinded out the final like 250,000 XP or so in lockdown quads today, and it still took me that long. Now, I wasn't trying to breeze through this like I would with others, so sure, I could have done it quicker, but when it still took me, someone who plays hours a day, a week to do, what about the people that only play on weekends, that only have 5 to 10 hours of disposable time to play these games in those 2 weeks? They mathematically don't have the time to complete that. So I feel like right now it's kind of this matter of finding a balance of how much is required for that allotted XP that it has to be earned to incentivize playtime versus the amount of playtime allotted to get that amount of XP. I feel like right now it's too slim a margin, maybe, at least in my mind, way I see it. Like, I think if you added this for maybe 3 weeks, hell, maybe even like 2.5, I think it'd be way easier to manage for a casual player. I just think the bugged amount of XP that we had that first day or two that was the halved amount, I feel like that would have been just fine. You of course want it to be a challenge, but you also want it to be attainable for the majority of your player base, if not all of your player base, in my opinion. Give everyone the opportunity, even if they may not choose to take advantage of it. So for me, that was my big complaint here at this event, and the reason that I was a little, I don't want to say jaded by it, but it was just one of those things that I just felt a little weird about during the entire duration of it, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I'm entirely off base here at this, but just wanted to talk to you guys here about this, engage your thoughts and feedback on it. What do you guys think of the event here itself? Do you think that it is the proper amount of XP versus time? Do you think it's a good balance here with this? Am I just entirely off base and thinking that maybe the casual player doesn't have enough time and realistically maybe they do? Whatever the case, let me know. Now, before we wrap everything up, going into the new year here, make sure you use code Espresso for up to 30% off your entire order at G Fuel. To me, G Fuel is my cup of coffee in the morning, gets my productivity flowing and the day going. Whether you want to grab a restock or pick something up for the very first time, grab your favorite tubs like Hype Sauce, Pog Juice, or something like a starter kit, code Espresso can help you out and offer you a nice discount year-round from anywhere from 20 to 30% off your entire order. Personally, I'd recommend my team Carnage's Pog Juice flavor, Pink Drip, the Morbius Nectarine flavor, Starfruit, and others like Hype Sauce. But if you want to check anything out for yourself, check the link in the description below and use code Espresso at checkout for 20 to 30% off your entire order. But that said, that's what we're going to call it. So let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing running all things Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, X-Defiant, and anything FPS related. I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.